the Enterprise Club.
Rather than kind of just explain who we are, what we'll do, which I left to the last slide, this is based on my experience. I'm not going to try and rival Senator Virgil Quinn for how to run a business, but I've been working with businesses, and 10 years ago, Virgil Quinn did an event for us in Fingal Enterprise Board when I worked there. So, but this is based on when I worked for Enterprise Ireland and over the years with agencies, about the type of kind of personality traits. It's not a comprehensive list, but literally I just kind of sat down and thought about what it is that makes it work. So, success. Number one thing, fail. You have to learn to fail, and I mean, sometimes the culture in Ireland is that there's a fear of failure. In my opinion, and this is my personal opinions, is you gotta fail, and you gotta learn from the experience and to learn quick, and then you judging when you're failing or when to stick with something is an essential skill for an entrepreneur. So what you need to do is experiment, like I'm sure as you've learned in this Digital Skills Academy. Like if you're doing 2 Facebook ads and you know one works better than the other, then you reiterate and you do it again. And that's what you need to do. You need to keep learning, continuously learning, and absolutely the river doesn't stand still. So even if you are up in business, and you've launched your first product and you're busy selling it, then you have to be thinking about the development of your second product. So yes, it's kind of continuous learning process, and as I said, you know, no matter what size or how long you've been in business. And then there's people who are serial entrepreneurs who maybe kind of, you know, I know when I meet them that maybe the idea that they have is good, but we can't get so far, and then you kind of see them down the road with another business idea that has worked really well. So, I mean, in a way, the kind of, it's the best master's program really is learning from running your own business, and then you can bring it into your next business. So, I can't believe I'm quoting Kenny Rogers, but this is, and I'm sort of like sounding like an economist here on the one hand and then on the other hand, but tenacity, so the perseverance of, you know, basically, you've got to keep trying, and even, you know, as I said, you might get a few knockbacks, and you know, things aren't always going smoothly, and you're making 15 cold calls and you're not getting anywhere, but you got to stick at it. And I mean, and that's one of the traits of really successful entrepreneurs, as I said, just persevering and keeping going. On the other hand, about learning and knowing when it's not working is adapting. So, I mean, it's, as I said, it's a balancing game, and really it comes down to your decision-making skills. So it's, okay, this isn't working, change direction, tweak it, try something else, okay? So as I said, they kind of seem to be contradicting, but they do make sense. The next one then is about SMART goals. So aim high. I mean, I suppose one of the frustrations we're working with government agency, my colleague Connor here, and it's really that, you know, people aren't aiming high enough, you know, for international business, for exports. You know, we're a small island, but once you get it right here, you start thinking about other markets. I worked in the Swedish market, or in Sweden, Finland, and Norway when I worked in the Stockholm office of Enterprise Ireland, and there's great opportunities, and you're like, hey, people, look at here, you know, this is a great Nordic market. Sometimes people get a little bit obsessed with just the UK and the US, but depending on your product, you know, go see where the market is and the opportunities there. So to know kind of where you're going, how to get there, is really important, what resources you need, and it also then kind of keeps you on track so you don't get distracted. So prioritising is really important. Doing the right things and doing things right. But also, just for kind of, as I said, when there are knockbacks, which are going to happen, staying motivated, just knowing, why am I doing this again? And then if you do kind of reach a milestone, reward yourself, give yourself a pat on the back. I mean, often when I get the time to go out and visit clients who have supported, you know, they're like, oh, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And I'm like, oh, you have come so far. And very rarely people take the time to actually recognise that. So, as I said, that's an important step as well. Time management, we've only so many hours in the day, so this is condensed down from several different time management courses I've done that I've done, but it's like, do it. If you're going to do it, you know, decide one of these 4 things, and then kind of think about it once and then park it or whatever. Learning to say no is very important as well. You know, is this work going to lead to more business, or am I just doing work on freebies on a constant basis or whatever else? So, I mean, I said you just need to get selective and kind of ruthless with your time and say no. If it isn't going to lead anywhere, is it going to be on your roadmap for where you want to get to? The other thing is to delegate it. I mean, there's only so many hours in the day, and maybe somebody has better skills to fulfill what needs to be done, so you could delegate it to them. Or if it's kind of a low skills job, maybe you could get like this, you know, so many interns that are available on various different programs that you could delegate it to somebody who, you know, you can oversee the work and everything else, but as I said, you can't do everything yourself. So delegation is key, and as I said, a lot of entrepreneurs sort of look back and say, well, maybe I should have kind of hired earlier actually. The other thing is defer, but if you're deferring and going, oh, I'll do it later, assign a particular date to it, so you know, you're not just kind of kicking it down the road, but when exactly you will deal with it. So, this is about strategic networking, and I'm kind of, again, on the one hand, to be ruthless, and on the other hand, generous, so we'll just try to explain that. Ruthless in terms of selection. There is events all over town and all over the country that you could be going to, so you've got to be ruthless in terms of selecting which ones am I going to go to. You know, what am I trying to get out of this? What am I trying to achieve when you are there? And who is it that you want to engage with? This is about the 8 as well, listening as well as talking. And then, you know, if you do get an opportunity to pitch, what will you say? So where I'm talking about generous then is like, hey guys, you're here, you know, you've given up your evenings, so basically be generous. I mean, ask people what it is that they're doing, what they're looking for. You know, could you help them in some way? What is it that you can, you know, refer them to somewhere useful or to a market that they mightn't have thought of, or that type of thing. So it does come around, you know. I mean, sometimes what you're trying to do, which could save a lot of time, is like, you know, who built your app for you? And, you know, that can save a lot of time, rather than launching straight into sales pitch left, right and centre, because it mightn't be appropriate. You need to know who you're talking to first so you can adapt it. So, the next one is about reputation, and again, for Quinza, being the best. So become the best, become the expert, the go-to person. So if somebody thinks, you know, I'm looking for somebody who is does animation, be the person that is the top of people's minds. That really is, you know, building that reputation, and it's real kind of drawback for startup businesses because you don't have any kind of past history. So all the time you have to build trust. You have to build trust so that people will invest money in you. You have to build trust so that employees will work for you. So it's really important that you build a reputation and then you maintain it. And this is kind of in real life and also obviously online as well. So, you know, managing your brand, tell people about it, raising your profile, whether it's, you know, through Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is that you're doing, or, you know, in kind of more traditional media. But then manage it and, you know, listen back and check in with what people are saying about you. And then you have to differentiate, because if you are doing something great, chances are other people are going to copy and there'll be a lot of me too's. So you kind of constantly have to keep differentiating and kind of staying top of your game. The other thing is there is a lot of help out there, so go seek it. I mean, to be honest, you know, I work for agencies, but the best people to talk to are other entrepreneurs. Like, look around and see who is it that is kind of best in your industry. Who is it that you admire what they've done? If you're trying to get into, you know, into a different market, maybe talk to somebody who's been there, done that, and maybe can share their experiences. And Irish people, or people in Ireland, I should say, are very generous with their time and are willing to share. So, I said the other thing is mentors, people maybe who can give you advice and guidance, and that's very important. Advisors, again, you know, be selective. Make sure that you're asking kind of for advice, but, you know, from appropriate channels. The right advisors can really save you a lot of time. People who've been around the block a few times and kind of, you know, can compare with other businesses that have gone before you and done maybe similar type things. So, and this, any investor will tell you, kind of from Trade Ireland will tell you, build a team. Enterprise aren't if you're aspiring to go on to that level, but at any level. Now you're kind of going, hey, I'm, you know, working on my business on my kitchen table or, you know, in a cafe or something, what are you talking about? But you need to know where your skills gaps are. And so it takes a lot of self-awareness to be a good entrepreneur and say, what am I not good at? What is it better that somebody else does? You know, is somebody else better at the kind of meticulous paperwork or tax return or whatever it is? And then, you know, early stage you might not have the money for employees, but you can get people who are advisors, people who have lots of experience in it. And, you know, maybe they don't want to be kind of working 60-hour days, but they might give you advice every so often. So they could be on your, maybe a director in the business or a board of advisors, or if you're taking on a business angel in terms of private equity, choose carefully, not just the money, but somebody who has a reputation in the business that you're getting into and can open doors for you. That's really invaluable. And then you're leaning on their reputation. So, you know, and it also shows, hey, if they're willing to work with you, then that kind of helps you. Because as I said, the reputation thing is key. Where you've no track record, you've got to fast track that. So, you know, collaborate with an established brand, with a trusted person, or whatever way it is that you need to do that. And again, I mentioned mentors. I mean, mentors are very important and the different skill sets. So as I said, learning from other people. How we can help you, mentoring is one of the things. We've a whole range of training and workshops, from sales and selling skills to basic taxation to doing your own PR, like how do you write your own press release, and then lots of kind of social media type skills as well, all geared to kind of what you need to know to run a business. So they're half-day workshops, you're in, you're out, they're €30, so very heavily subsidised and really top quality. The mentoring, we have a whole kind of network of mentors that we can point you in the right direction, that have skills in different sectors and different skill sets. And again, you know, it's great to kind of use a mentor as a sounding board. You know, it can be quite lonely being an entrepreneur, which is where the networking comes in as well, going, you know, when things aren't going right, or even if they are going right and suddenly things take off, you know, it's like, you know, just to be able to talk out loud to somebody and get a sounding board literally to kind of bounce ideas off. And then in the case of eligible businesses that have potential to export, there's some financial assistance available. On our website, DCEB.ie, we have an online knowledge centre, so there's lots of information articles. We have a calendar of events on what's going on in the city, so check in and find out what's going on. And we have a free electronic newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks.
Thanks very much, and again, thanks very much to Eibhlin and the Dublin City